Good evening. Well, good evening if you're in the UK or in Europe, but good afternoon or good lunchtime if that's such a greeting if you're in the US and other parts of the world. And I'm hoping you're not watching this in the middle of the night in Australia, New Zealand. Anyway, my name's Jenny Kovacs and this is just the second episode of Dear Jenny. So thank you so much for jumping on and watching, and I'm waving. Now, where did this come from? If you're in my era, you'll remember the good old agony aunt, and I remember reading magazines and newspapers and having somebody that you could go and spill your guts to. Well, I decided that when it comes to being seen, when it comes to being visible and doing it in an authentic, real, and let's face it, easy way, I thought, wouldn't it be a great idea to recreate an agony aunt, but for people who want to stand out more, put themselves out there, show up in the world, tell people about what they do. So this week is the pilot week. Woohoo! Vanessa caught me live. I'll give you a high five, Vanessa. So this is like a live way for me to explore and explain in the style of an agony aunt of the gazillion questions that I get. So let me tell you about where these questions come from. First of all, there's the Visibility Vibes Tribe, which is a Facebook group full of awesome people, I have to say. And in there, sometimes they'll ask me questions. Other times, even when they get into the group, they'll tell me what they're struggling with or what they're most challenged with when it comes to being visible. So I will collect those because I want to make sure each and every one of you gets a response and an answer. And then another way that these come are from speaking gigs. In fact, I was speaking this morning, speaking/training, I would say, because training is my background. And people will ask me questions in a training room as well. So these come from all over the places. These are real questions from real people. So if, like Vanessa, you've caught this live and you're thinking, I'd quite like to ask a question on the next episode of Dear Jenny, then by all means, go up to the top of the page, hit the message button and send me your question, and I will attempt to answer it. And just remember one thing, these Facebook Lives are designed to be less than 10 minutes. Sometimes 3 or 4 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, but definitely less than 10 because you're busy. And after I've shared the answer to the question that I've been asked, then it would be really great to take just 60 seconds to either go implement or think about what I can do next to make this happen for me, if it's an answer to your question too. So that said, Dear Jenny, this is a question that I got. Dear Jenny, I've been asked to speak. What shall I do? So for those of you that are established public speakers, aspiring public speakers, just getting started public speakers, depending on where you are in the trajectory, will depend on what information you need and sometimes which information you ask for. So let's take the new speaker. Maybe you've decided that this year is going to be the year that I get out there, that I speak more, that I become an international speaker. Maybe this is the year that you've given up your job and just started to go out there and go for it. Maybe it's just that you have a business or you work for an organisation and you need to represent them in some way, shape or form by speaking. So if that's you, there will be certain pieces of information that you might end up collecting through trial and error, just like I did when I started the transition from employee who did lots of presentations to business owner who speaks. Then for those of you that have been speaking for a long time, you might have just said, I'm going to up the ante, I'm going to speak more, I'm going to speak in more places, I'm going to speak more locally, I'm going to speak more nationally, I'm going to speak more internationally. There's information that you need to find out there too. And if you, like many of the mentors and coaches that I have worked with, are out there already speaking a lot, and I've spoken like easily in the 10 years that I've been in business, well over 1,000 times now. If that is you and you are thinking, you know what, maybe I've come a bit complacent, I need to swap it up or change it up a bit, then if that's you, these 3 things, wherever you are on the scale, will get you closer to where you need to be and further away from different feeling. So it'll be different for all of you. So let me crack on and share what my 3 tips are. And do forgive me because I'm not wearing my glasses, so if I squint like this, that's all it is. And you guarantee that that is the thumbnail that will be captured on the Facebook Live. Like this. Who cares? I continue. Oh, and by the way, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, can you share this? Because I want to see if this is of interest to people, how many people actually watch them. And if it is of interest, then I'll do more. And if not, then I'll just go and cry into my soup. What else can I say? So 3 things that you might need to do. So the first thing is, when you are asked to speak, get information or get informed. Now, what do I mean by that? As a newbie speaker, it's likely that you're going to be so excited you've been asked to speak that you're just going to say yes. You know, I need the practice. I want to do more of it. I'm just going to say yes. Maybe you're feeling the fear in doing it anyway. But you will need to acquire some information. And this will be different depending on your business, depending on what you speak about, and depending on what you do. So make sure whatever information you need is what you get. As an example, using Vanessa, she showed up live. One of the things that she does is pole for the soul. So it's pole fitness. So one of the pieces of information that Vanessa's very likely to want to find out from the person asking her to speak is, like, do you want me to do a demonstration? If so, will I need to bring my pole? You know, will there be room? How much space? It could be something like that. So depending on the type of business you are, the type of speaking you're doing, or even the talk or presentation, you will need to find out more information or get informed. And that is important for you to ask those questions straight up. Just tame that excitement, that feeling in your stomach of excitement, and find out what you need. This will help you make an informed decision. Now, when you're a dab hand at this, and you've been doing this for a long time, the sort of information or type of information that you will need may be different. Maybe you've done a gazillion speaking gigs and realised that there's certain elements of a speaking gig that works well for you and others that don't. And that's okay. It's up to you to say yes or no. But what you might want to do is find out a little bit more about what you need to know in order to be able to speak. So, second thing that we're going to talk about is find out who you're talking to. Now, this sounds really strange, but so many of us will go out and have, you know, some sort of speaking gig or some sort of talk, and you're not really sure of who your audience are, what they need to hear, etc., etc. This is a very common mistake, and more common than you would actually believe. So if you're thinking, Jenny, you know, I really do want to do more speaking, I want to get out there, I don't want to wait, then do know that Speaking Out Authentically starts next week, next Monday, on the 1st of October. You can join me. If you want to know more, send me a message and we'll have a quick chat to find out whether it's suitable for you or not. So find out who you're talking to. Again, as a newbie, you might just want the practice and be happy speaking to anyone. Or as a dab hand at this, and as you go and speak more, there might be certain criteria. There might be certain elements of the audience that will make it a great experience, not only for you, but for them. So you might need to find out more about that. Or it could be that you've been doing this for ages, so you now know when you speak to cows in a field that they don't really respond. But when you speak to people with pink hair, they absolutely adore it, love you, can't get enough of you, come back for more. Yet when you speak to farmers, they not only love what you do, they buy everything you do, they want to know more, they tell all of their friends, and therefore that means that it would be a really good fit. So whether you're farmers, cows, or people with pink hair, it doesn't matter, there is no right and wrong. The point is that you have asked. You have asked so that you know who you're talking to. So that was that was 2. So the last one was get clarity. Now, get clarity. What do I mean by that? Just this week, this has come up in the topic of conversation with 3 separate clients. And it's only Tuesday, and I'm counting this week as starting from Monday. When you are asked to speak, whether you're a newbie, whether you've been doing it for a long time, get clarity so that you know more specifically what you're talking about for them, your audience, and the people who are, let's face it, forced to listen to you, and for yourself. Now, why would you do that? Well, if you have a talk that's 10 minutes, or if you're asked to speak for 2 hours, or maybe half a day, or maybe even to go in and do some training for a number of hours, it would be really helpful to know what those people that you'll be speaking to need, so that you can ensure you provide what they need. Now, you know, there's no point fitting a 5-hour talk into a 5-minute slot. It's just not going to work. But when you can be really clear on what they need, you do a service for them, and you also do one for you. So you know exactly what you're saying, how to position it, and how to do it in a way that's really digestible for them. So I'm waving at you that have all popped on. So that's it. Like, next time somebody says, I'd love you to speak, you don't need to go into a panic. I get so many calls from clients that I'm working with when they say, I've been being more visible and someone's just asked me this thing. What do I do next? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And they start panicking and moving like a robot like this. When all they need to do is get clear on the information that they need, find out who they're talking to, and get clear. And hey presto, it makes your speaking gig, your talk, your presentation so much easier. So remember, if you want the ability to speak out authentically in a way that feels like you, doesn't feel forced, either keep coming back and watching these Dear Jenny questions, because they come from real people with real questions, or alternatively, jump in on the Speaking Out Authentically next week. There's still a few spaces. You can totally do it, and you can even pay in little pieces if you want to. But I would love to be able to help you craft your presentation, your speaking, or your talk journey, so that you are not spinning your wheels, so that you're really putting yourself out there in an authentic way. Lots of love to you. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.